All right, welcome to Math Today. Hopefully your quiz went well. You at home took your quiz just before this, I hope. If not, quiz first. All right, up here we are on page 204 and 205. Today we are learning how to add mixed numbers. Okay? Was adding fractions really easy? Okay, so before you get yourself into a panic, this isn't going to be that difficult, okay? The only thing that's different between adding a fraction and a mixed number is what? What's the new part we're going to be doing? Hayden?
You gotta have, like...
A mixed number has what in addition to the fraction?
Well, it has, in this one, it has a 1.
Okay, so it has a whole number, right?
So maybe you don't change that?
Well, so we just have to figure out how we add the whole numbers and how we add the fractions, okay? So that's what we're doing today. So I'm going to read this problem up here at the top. I need your eyes either on the screen or in your book, so I'll wait till I see eyes in the places they should be. We all ready? Okay. Markers come in boxes of 8. 8 markers in a box. For an art project, one group of students used, and you should mark this up with me, they used 1 5/8 boxes of markers. Another group used 1 6/8 boxes. I also probably should have written down or underlined something about markers come in boxes of 8, okay? So that is why my denominator is an 8, because 8 markers make one whole box. Everyone with me so far? Okay, hopefully your problem's marked up. And our question, which we need to put in a box, how many boxes of markers did the two groups use altogether? Okay, they don't want to know how many markers, they want to know how many boxes of markers. So we're going to first just think about ways we could think this through. So we could picture it, and a lot of you like the visual. So please look up here and pay attention. One way to picture it is to draw a picture. Now if we were looking at this, could we draw a picture that showed 1 5/8 and 1 6/8?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really good at that. We could do it. So they did it for us. So here is one box, and there's 5/8 of a box. Here is one box and 6/8 of a box. And then they just like smushed all their pictures together. So that would be one way of counting, right? How many markers or boxes we've got. So when they smushed them all together, they said, I've got one box and 5/8, one box and 6/8. So here's my one box, right, with 8 markers. Here's another box with a mixed amount. What happened here? What's going on here? It's all mixed up, red and blue. What's going on here? Noah, what do you think?
Because it said all together, so we're adding that one and that one, not
Okay, you guys check with me, see if you see what I see. I think this box right here came from here, right, because they're red. This box they're showing us came from right up here, right? So now everybody look and try to help me figure out what's going on in this middle one here, with the red and the blue. What does this represent from the picture up here? Josiah?
Since the red box isn't full of them, they had to put the blue box, a little bit of it, into the red box because they had a lot left over.
Okay, he's right. So this would have been easier if we had just started from scratch and drawn it, but I want you to see what they did. So these 5 markers right here, well, they put them right here, okay? And then they had a space of 3. So they took 1 marker from here, 2 markers from here, 3 markers from here, and then these 3 that were left is what we've got right here. So all they did really was take this picture and smush it all together, okay? Now I need to scroll up because we're just thinking through how we can think about it. And there's other ways to think it through.
Oh, you mean down?
So far I have not taught you how to do any of this. So if you're thinking, I don't know what she just did, that's okay. So we can look at pictures, which we'll keep practicing. You can also model it with a number line. We've done a lot of number line work. So when you're using a number line for mixed numbers, what are they using for their tick marks? Are they using whole numbers or fractions? Hayden?
Whole numbers.
Whole numbers. So 1 5/8, they just kind of estimated on here, okay? I don't see any little markers in between, so they just did their best. We know that 1 5/8 is in between 1 and 2 things, right? But it's a little bit closer to 2 because it's not 4/8, which is half. And then the other group, wait, I can't remember the numbers. What was it? 1 5/8 and 1 6/8. So if we move up by 1, we get to 2 5/8. and we can move up 6/8 more. Number lines, I'll be honest, for mixed numbers, I think it's confusing, okay? If you like number lines, this might be your way to think it through. It's not for me, okay? So let's go to our other page, and now we're actually going to start walking through the steps. So the top of page 5, we're actually going to try to solve this. And after this problem today, we are done. We're just trying one, and on Monday, we're going to pick up and keep working, okay? So, what is the sum? What does sum mean? I need someone to tell me that hasn't answered the question yet. Quentin?
Like the sum is like what it equals up to.
Which math operation? Addition, subtraction, multiplication?
Division. Subtraction. Multiplication.
Addition. Nice. So the sum is the answer to an addition problem. So we want the sum. So that means we are adding. Okay? Shh. Sum means adding. We just need to add the whole numbers. Well, is the whole number the ones or the fractions?
Oh, fraction.
The more of you need to be paying attention or you're going to be doing some homework. What part is my whole number up here? The ones or my fractions? Abby? The ones. So they just said add just the whole numbers. So I have 1 plus 1, right? That's it. Are those the whole numbers? Okay, don't make this harder than it is. What is 1 plus 1? Class? 2.
Fish.
That's it. Okay, write that down. So we can add whole numbers, right? That's nothing new. We've been doing that since kindergarten. We can do it. Number 3 wants the sum, which is addition, of just the fraction parts. Do we know how to add fractions if they have the same denominator?
Yes.
Absolutely. You guys have done great with that. So we are going to add just 5/8 plus 6/8.
1.
Please write that on the line. Shh, voices are off when I'm teaching. Now remember, when we add a fraction, do I want to add my numerators or my denominators? Which part do we change? Cadence? Only numerators. 5 plus 6 is 11. Denominator stays the same. So hopefully we all got 11/8.
Yes.
Okay? Thumbs up if you got 11/8. All right, so far, nothing new, okay? Does anyone have any questions, though, so far? Angie?
It looks like an improper fraction.
It is an improper fraction, right? So we might have to do something about that. Shh. Some of you are talking too much. Shh. It is improper. So we're going to have to take care of that business, all right? Good noticing. So the next question is what Angie's saying. Think about how many holes are in 11/8 and how many extra 8s there are. So there are a couple different ways you can do this. I could draw a picture and use 8s. So everybody please do this with me. Remember, when you do a circle with 8s, you just do a plus sign and then an X through it. Everyone do it. Draw a circle, plus sign, and then an X. That makes an easy way to do 8s. Now we have 11/8. So let's just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I can only fit 8. What does that mean? Noah?
That means you have to make another one.
Oh, because I couldn't do 11. So I have one whole thing already, right? Okay, so I have 8/8, so I have to do it again. You all will get so good at this, you won't have to draw pictures. But for now, to get it in our heads, you all should be drawing with me constantly. Pencils ready? So I had 8, 9, 10, 11. So how many extra 8s do I have down here left over? Hayden?
5.
No, count carefully. Noah?
3.
3. I've got 3 8s. All right. So this shows my 11/8, right? I just drew it out. So I have 1 and 3 8s. So now over here, let's think this through. 11/8 equals 8/8. Check. We already figured that out, right? It made one whole thing. Plus, how many extra 8s were in this other picture left over? Josiah? 3. So we need to put our 3 up here. And so this is just telling us, since there's an equal sign, that 11/8 is the same value as all of this on this side.
8
Shh. You're just writing along with me. Okay, this is just the introduction of a new topic. We don't understand it after 3 minutes of talking. Madeline?
I already knew that because 8 plus 3 equals 1.
There you go. Yep. So all this math is kind of coming together. All right, so now we know 8/8 equals, Josiah,
11/8. No, 3/8.
think about this. This, don't make it too hard. 8/8 is what? Is it a whole thing? It's one whole thing. So they're saying 8/8 equals 1 plus 3/8. So they did all of this stuff. When we could have just looked at our picture, we knew that, right? We have one whole thing and 3/8 of a second one. And we knew that just by drawing 11/8. So now, they're saying we had the 2 from earlier, right? We had 2 when we added up our whole numbers. And then in our 11/8, we realized we have 1 and 3/8. So they wrote all those down here, okay? The 2 came from up here. Make sure you're listening right now. The 1 that we've got right here came from that 8/8 from our improper fraction that Angie brought up. And then the 3/8 was the only part that we had left over at the very end. So now we add, okay? When you just have 2 whole numbers, you just add them up. So what's 2 plus 3? This is the easiest part. Angie? 3. Nice job. Okay, and if I want to add 3 plus 3/8, what do you think I do? Noah?
Just write 3/8 on that side of it.
Yeah. If I'm combining 3 plus 3/8, it just is 3 and 3/8. So we've done 1 now. Does that mean you should understand this perfectly?
No.
No. Maybe you do. Fabulous if you do, but you don't need to, okay? So explain how you add mixed numbers, okay? The first step when we added our mixed numbers, and some of you are zoning out, what was the very first thing we did? And if you forget, look back up at number 2. What's the first thing? Noah?
We added our sum.
You find
Oh,
the
we
sum
added
of...
the whole part.
Yes, we find the sum or we add the whole numbers first. Okay, so we're going to write this like a list. So number 1, step 1, we add the whole numbers. And that step is easy. We've been adding since we were 5 or 6, maybe even before that. Okay, so adding the whole numbers is the easiest part of this. All right, after we add the whole numbers, we kind of save that amount to the side. What did we do second? So now we're looking kind of at number 3. What did we do after we add the whole numbers? Noah?
We add the fraction.
We add the fraction parts. So number 2, add the fractions. Give you a little bit more time to write that down. So we've got 2 steps now. We only have 1 more step. So if you finished writing down our second step, think about after I add my whole numbers and then add my fractions, what's our final step to find the answer to a mixed number addition problem? Hayden, what do you think?
We add 2 and 1 and 3/8, which you got 3/3.
So you explain the example. Now, using that example, Hayden, try to use math terms. What can we call the 2 and the 1? They're not fractions. What are they?
We add the 3.
But it won't always be a 3, right? So just in
We
general.
add the half.
Good guess. Noah?
We add the whole parts and then add the fractions.
So our third step, we need to add the whole numbers and fractions together. Okay, that is step 3. Please write that down. And I know right now this still might not make total sense, but these are your steps. So we add our whole numbers and fractions together.
How do we do that? How are we gonna add the whole numbers and like fractions together?
That is the kind of new topic, right? These first 2 steps, we've done it and you are all great at it. This third step is what we'll be working on the next few days, okay? So it's fine to not feel certain about number 3. I'm giving everyone a minute to finish writing that. Get out of Miss Zoe's way. And then we will do a couple practice problems at the bottom of the page. I'll leave that if there won't. About 10 more seconds. I'm going to scroll, so if you're still writing, get it written quickly. All right, I think we're good. Okay. I need a reader for number 7, and this woman's name is Mrs. Suarez. Zoe.
This is Laura sold pies for a fundraiser. She sold
3 and 5/6.
3 and 5/6 pies the first day, and 1, 3, 6 pies the second day. How many pies did she sell in all?
All right. What part of that problem tells me we need to add? Cadence?
How many pies did she sell in all?
And all, okay? Very good. So our question, I'm going to put that in a box. How many pies did she sell in all? That's key word, right? Tells me I need to add. Some of you aren't marking your books, okay? That means you're sitting and being lazy. Mark it with me. All right, what else is important? Well, I don't think we really need to know this first sentence. But she sold 3 and 5/6 pies the first day. And 1 and 3/6 pies the second day. So we need to know how many pies she sold in all. So are we just adding those mixed numbers together? Yes. Okay, so it's not really hard, but we're walking through a new thing. So everyone make sure you're listening. Hayden?
It's kind of hard.
Oh yeah, we haven't done one yet. Okay, so remember back to when we just read our steps. What do we do first? When we add mixed numbers, we add step number 1, an easy step that we know how to do. Cadence? Add the whole numbers first. I'm going to do my work up here. If you all need more space, you could work on page 204. You've got a lot of white blank space. So, all together, our fractions, I'm just going to rewrite both of them here because I like to see them big, and I've got 1 and 3/6. I need to add them up, and we know that our first step is whole numbers. So, I'm going to add first 3 plus 1. Not rocket science, right? But that is step 1, okay? So you're 1/3 of the way done with the problem. So if you've not written that down, please write that down. Some of you, I'm being honest, some of you are really starting to frustrate me. Put your pencil in your hand. Nothing else should be in your hands. Write this down with me. All right, so that's step number 1. I'm going to put a little number 1 here so we don't forget. Step number 2, who can remember what we do second when we need to add a mixed number? Josiah, what do you do second?
You add 5/6 and 3/6.
Yes, we have to add the fraction parts. So I'm going to copy that over. I have 5/6 plus 3/6. Now before we add anything, we always have to make sure the denominators are the same, right? And in 4th grade, they always are, just so you know. In 5th grade, it won't be that way anymore. So in 5th grade, you always have to change your denominator first and then add. But we lucked out. The 6 is going to stay the same, right? Now what is 5 plus 3 for my numerator?
8.
8. All right. So all together, here's what I've got. I have 4 and 8/6. Okay. So that is technically the correct answer. But does anybody see maybe an issue or something wrong with it that doesn't make it make a whole lot of sense? Cadence, what do you think? Yeah, I have a mixed number, but the fraction part is improper. This won't work, okay? 4 and 8/6 pies. That's not a clear way of stating that. So now, here's my third step. Really, your third step after you add your fractions, you're going to have to take a look at the fraction you got. And I'm going to rewrite it. If I have 8/6, is that more than one whole thing? Yeah, everyone listen. 8/6, more than one whole thing. Can I rewrite this as a mixed number? Okay. So let's draw a picture. Okay, if I'm just talking about 6th, if I've got 6 sixes here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here is another diagram, and I have 2 more, right, to make 8. Hopefully we're all drawing this with me. Did I show 8/6 in my picture?
How is 8/6 bigger than 1/8?
Well, remember, if I had 6/6, that's 1, right? So this is improper. An improper fraction, remember, it always means bigger than one whole thing. So if I draw 8/6, I realize, oh, I've got more than one whole thing. I have one whole thing, and what fraction left over? Noah?
What fraction left over? You have 4/6 left over.
Not 4.
Oh, 2/6.
2/6 left over.
And you would have to, yeah.
We're almost done. That step, what we just did, is the hardest part of this. Okay, so let me tell you one time what we did. First, we added our whole numbers, the 3 and the 1. Second, we just added the fractions, 5/6 and 3/6 to get 8/6. But we realized, Angie said that's improper. Yeah, so we drew a picture to show 8/6 and realized as a mixed number, that would be 1 and 2/6. So here's what you do to finish. I add 4 plus 1 and 2/6, and we're done. Okay? Why am I not going to add the 8/6 to my 4 and my 1? Hayden?
Because it has to, if you put it up and down, it would only line up with the 1.
We took that 8/8 out and replaced it with a 1, didn't we? Because 8/8 is one whole thing. So last up, number 3. I'm going to write it right here. Make sure we're keeping our feet quiet so the microphone's not picking up on it. So I have my whole number 4, plus I have to add in my 8/6, which we found is the same as 1 and 2/6. We can add all those together. 4 plus 1 is 5. And does anyone remember, how do I add that 2/6 on? Noah? I just write it. It's easy. That part is easy. So our final answer is 5 and 2/6. Now, what I will say, sometimes it feels like a lot just because there's like 3 or 4 steps. The hard part that we're going to keep working on next week is this 8/6 business when we have to change the improper part to add to find our mixed number. Okay? So today, if you are feeling very much in the middle on this lesson, that's how I expect you to feel. I'm expecting you to feel like, okay? So, on Monday, we're going to pick back up right where we left off on number 8. All right? So, thank you for listening today. You can put your math books away. Friends at home, do not despair. Everyone in here is looking at me like I'm speaking a different language. We're going to keep working on it next week. Okay?
You are.